Shelly, I'm good.
Good, good.
Yes, Shelly.
Hi, we're good. We're live. So let's just come to the quizzes. Let's see how well people know Africa. So there's a bit of delay on my my side at the moment. So let's just kick off. Right. It's playing. There's a bit of a delay on my side, guys. But Michael, how many of these do you actually know?
Quite a few, quite a few. Quite
Some
a
of
few.
them are quite a surprise.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Most of it actually is. Interesting.
Very. Okay. Let's kick off. So I've got a really bad delay. I hope that you're able to follow. So yeah, do we have Desmond on the line? Desmond, I don't think he's around. Hello, hi guys. Hi Rahada, thanks for joining. Thank you guys. Okay, fine. All right, let's kick off. So.
Hi, Shelly.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you doing, Shelly? How are you doing, Michael?
Yeah, we're good today. Thank you so much for joining. So, let's kick off.
Welcome everyone. Just a short quiz to get to know how much you know of Africa, the continent on which we belong. Are we okay, Shelly?
Yeah, we've actually just done that. So we're just gonna kick off. Yeah, you okay? We did the quiz.
Yes.
How much of that? How much did you get? How much of that did you get?
Hi, my name is Yasmin Bitugu. I head Africa Global Radio. We are an online radio station based in Accra, Ghana, and we are totally into telling vibrant, empowering, inspiring stories on global Africa. We are so happy to be partners with the Gen X Bright Ideas Challenge because of the synergy. We call on all 18 to 30-year-olds across Africa to create, innovate, and be the change you wish to see. Remember, as we say at Africa Global Radio, our story, our growth, our future.
Hello guys, so I just want to welcome you all to the Bright Ideas 2020 Q&A session 2. My name is Shirley Inzet and I'm your host for today. So with me are two gentlemen. If you guys will introduce yourself, we have Michael from Ashesi Design Lab, and I'll let you speak a bit in a second. And we also have Desmond. Good. So you want to say something?
Sure, let me take it from here. Hello guys, so I'm Michael and I'm an independent consultant representing the HSD Lab who are partners on this project. Basically, I'm here to help answer some of the queries and concerns you have concerning this project, and especially the next phase we are about embarking on. So nice meeting you all, and let's make it a fun meeting. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. So I just want to see like how things are going. I've got to keep my eyes. Hi Una, hi Emmanuel. Thank you all for joining. Going to add Desmond again to the session. So fantastic. I was just wondering if we can, I'll hand over to Desmond to kind of break into the how to engage, the check-in, and let's get social sections. Desmond, you on?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shelley. And once again, welcome everyone to this Q&A session. Let's get to know each other. So for a quick check-in, kindly comment your name, the country you are joining us from, and an adjective that describes you in the comment section. And let's get to know each other before we proceed with the Q&A session.
All right, so apologies for that very scary display. We're just gonna, while you're doing the Q&A, I'll prepare my screen. So if you've got any questions so far, or your location, let's see where you're all from. It's a bit of a delay on my line, so I apologize for that if it's coming through very slowly. So where, Desmond, can you see where people are dialing in from today? Have a bit of a blind spot with the slides. Desmond? Desmond, can you hear me? Desmond, I was just wondering, can you hear me?
Hello, Shelley.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me? I was just wondering if you could see the comments, because I've just got the screen at the moment.
No, I can't see the comment from my end, and that's what I was trying to sort out.
Okay.
So if you can see,
fine.
can kindly help me introduce the people who have popped in.
Yes, of course. Well, I don't have the comments in front of me, but I think we should just head in right now. So if you can just help us get the bright ideas out. If you have any comments, we're looking on social media. If you can hashtag it with Bright Ideas 2020 or hashtag Gen X experience, okay, that would be really appreciated. In terms of ways to comment, we're just going to go along, and if there are any questions, if you just like ask the questions, we'll try and capture the questions and deal with them as we go along. I'll try and take some breaks as well, just so that we try and address the questions as we go along, because they'll be contextual to the screens in front of us at the moment. So if we're good to go, as I said, my name is Shirley Inza, and I'm your host for today for Bright Ideas 2020 Q&A 2. And so let's just start with a bit about Bright Ideas. So a small agenda piece for today. What we're going to do is the introductions, which we've done. We're going to cover the purpose. We're going to talk a bit about ways to engage, which I've just mentioned. Then we're going to step right into the recap of Q&A session 1. And then we're going to look at the templates and examples, and also the Q&A. So that will allow you an opportunity to ask any questions that you have after having reviewed some of the documents that we posted out. So this session is really for you. So please make sure that you do ask the questions that you have to help you as much as possible. Okay? Hope everyone's ready. Please let us know in the comments if you do have questions, and we'll try and pick them up as we go along. Okay? So, purpose for today's session really is to help you complete the submission template. Submissions are due next week. You have the templates that are with the template. You have the guide that takes you through the step-by-step how to complete the form. So it'll be good to know if anyone's been through the actual form. And also, if you've had a chance to look at the actual template sample and the downloadable template. So the sample is just to guide you in terms of how your submission should look. And then the downloadable version is the one that you complete, so that you can try and put it all in a format that is clear to understand for everyone. Okay, so if there are any questions at the moment, like I said, if you don't have any at the moment, we can continue along and pick them up as we go along. But if there are any questions, if you could just let us know. I think Desmond might be trying to help out, so it's a little bit hard for me at the moment to see the questions. So let's do the recap on Q&A session 1, which happened last week. So in Q&A session 1, we basically discussed what Bright Ideas is. So what Bright Ideas is a quest to find and fund an MVP and help someone launch a bright idea, an idea that is easy to design, easy to launch, profitable, and that respects the current demand trends based on the pandemic in which we find ourselves. As well as the funding for the MVP, you'll also get to work with some of the finest minds, I think, in academia and in business, as well as some of our partners. We have one on the line, which is Michael from HSE Design Lab, but also we have people from InnoHub, we have people from iSpace that will be providing some support. So it's really exciting, the access to knowledge and experience that you'll be able to get. You'll also have the opportunity to build a network, which is really part of being an entrepreneur, understanding how things work, the landscape, who to go to when you need that help. I think this is one of the things that most people really miss out on when they first start out. Okay, so Bright Ideas has all these opportunities, as well as other developmental opportunities, such as personal development and other skills, such as project management, etc. Okay. So let's talk a bit about what we're looking for in terms of the recap. So what we're looking for is, as I mentioned, something that is pandemic proof, that takes no more than 30 days to design and launch. So it's got to be really simple, got to be able to sort of map out all the operations and all that sort of stuff, and then just launch this business idea. We've got to have something that's able to be launched within a budget that's been set, and have no formal commitment in terms of other business partners or legal, let's say, commitments, let's say. And it's got to be obviously legal in the jurisdiction in which you wish to launch it. So these are all some of the things that to consider. In terms of eligibility, Bright Ideas is open to everyone within the ages of 18 to 30 living in Africa. Okay, so these are some of the people that we wish to join. It doesn't matter which country you're in. You know, don't feel intimidated if you've never had business experience before. That's what we're here to do, to give you and to support you. So please, you know, feel free to put an idea across, and we'll help you build and shape it as we go along. The idea must also preferably be original. Where it's not original, it can be an original take on an existing theme. So that's basically the criteria for joining. If there are any questions, let us know. If we haven't called your questions out yet, we're going to come to them. So if we don't pick them up now, rest assured that we will pick up the questions in due course. It's just that it's we're having a bit of a challenge with this screen versus looking into the stream. So just to recap on the selection process and the key dates, we talked a bit about this, the last session as well. So as you can see, there's 6 key milestones in this project. It's basically the challenge was launched, and we're now conducting the second of a series of 3 Q&As. These are Q&As designed to help you, support you, tell you all about Bright Ideas, and also, you know, if you want to do some scenario building, that's fine. We're here to help. We'll also have some drop-in workshops as well during the week if you wish to attend and maybe run some ideas or questions by us. So these are all part of the Q&A events. The next deadline is the 19th, which is next week, July, where your deadline must be, your entry must be submitted. After that, following that, the 2nd of August is the next deadline. I think it's 2 weeks after that, which is when finalists will be shortlisted. Following that, we're going to have the live rehearsal for those who are shortlisted and put forward. And then the actual event takes place on the 16th of August, 2020. So please bookmark that any of these dates, because these dates are key. All right. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick break before I launch into the templates. Just give me a quick second. I'm just going to get back into... All right, so I just want to check Bonjour, ça va? Hello, hi, Manuel, how are you? Good evening, hi, Ibo. I just want to kind of see what everyone's doing. If you do have any questions, just let us know. We'll be happy to pick up anything before we join in and move forward. I'll just add you to the stream. Welcome back, Desmond. Hello, guys. If there no, is there was something about check. Okay. No questions at the moment? Okay, fine. I think on that case, we're going to move forward. Okay, great. And like I said, if we don't pick up your questions right now, just do leave them and we will pick them up as we go along. Okay. So just 1 second while I get back. Apologies for that. It's a bit psychedelic, I'm afraid. So, okay, fine. I think I'll have to get a second screen just for this. So this is the template that we presented, and the templates consist of a number of slides, which are basically designed to help us better understand your business proposition in terms of the value add, the value proposition, your key partners. It's to help us basically understand how well you have understood the business proposal, who you feel you're going to serve, and the value that you're going to deliver to them. So as we go through this particular session, please, please, please understand that if we are going to use an example, it is really just an example for illustration purposes only. We're actually going to use an Amazon FBA business model, which I recommend nobody submits because it is not something that we can do in 30 days and launch. So it's just for illustration purposes. Okay, it's absolutely not something that we're recommending, but it's just to guide you and show you how to proceed. So actually, I do want to make this a bit more interactive. So I think rather than sort of just leading through, I'd like to see, did you guys, in terms of key partners, did you have any questions yourselves in terms of key partners? You know, in terms of how to define your partners, the suppliers, the resources that you're getting from your suppliers and that sort of thing, and as well as things like motivation for why you've selected certain partners. I'm just going to go back to questions just in case there are some. Okay, all right, fine, we'll go on. But it'll be good to know what you guys have thought of, or, you know, it'll just be good to see that. Just if we can sort of have specific examples, then that would be quite good. Emmanuel, did you have any questions yourself, or should I, sorry, not Emmanuel. Michael, did you have any comments yourself, or should I just proceed?
I guess we need to proceed for now.
Yeah, okay, that's great. That's great. One second. Desmond, I could just see you coming. I'll just let you in if that's okay. Hi. So I'm just going to go back to the actual screen share. Just bear with me, guys. It's a little bit of a challenge trying to go back and forth on the screens. I promise you the next time we will have a second screen. So I think rather than going to full screen, I think I'll present in this way because it just makes it easier. So in key partners, we're looking at, as it says, people that you actually partner with, and partners could be suppliers. They're people that you work with, that you depend on, whose resources you use. They're people that basically support your business. So for example, if I am an Amazon business, which I've said you shouldn't use, okay, my key partners will be obviously my key suppliers. So my key suppliers of products, which is the, you know, let's just say I'm using garden bags. I sell garden bags. Okay, so that will be the supply that I use to actually get and acquire the product that I'm selling on. Okay, now because I want to go for a very low touch business rather than employ people, okay, I've decided to use the FBA model. So the Fulfilled by Amazon FBA offers me the ability to use their logistics network to deliver the product to my customers. So that is a key partner for me. So when you're formulating your business, think about all the people, all the touch points that, they're basically people that you use, or whose services or whose resources that you use to keep your business going. I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, just we think really well about that. And it's not just suppliers, it's not, just logistics. It depends purely on the business that you're doing. If it's online only, you probably won't need the logistics to deliver something. You'll probably need some sort of a protocol, some sort of technical or electronic protocol. So I'm going to move on to activities.
Shirley, let me come in a bit. I would just like to comment on the key partners. Basically, anyone involved from in between conception and the product or service ending at the doorstep of the consumer. Anyone who is going to influence this stream qualifies as a key partner. So you need to, like Shirley rightly said, you need to look through your business carefully and know who is a key partner. Yes, there may be other people involved in the business along the way. However, which amongst these will you consider as a key partner? And she said some time ago, it is business specific. There's no straitjacket for all. So we encourage you all to look through and think through your business carefully whilst you identify some of these contributors to your business. Again, from in between your conception to the arrival at the doorstep of the consumer, which people will you consider as key partners? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. So I'm going to talk a bit about activities. So as you can see, it says activities are what you actually do. So what are you setting up in business to do, whether that's selling fruit or, if you're selling fruit, it might not just be just selling fruit. There are other things that you would do as well with that. But if you focus on your key activities, right, think about, what value you're creating for your customer and what activities you need to do to deliver that value to your customer. So, Michael, do you want to dive in on there with something, or putting you on the spot? Michael?
Hi, Shirley. Sorry. Let's soldier on. Let's box on from our comment later.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So just talking a little bit about key activities, I just want to add a few things before I go. So if we went to our fictitious Amazon store, what I would be doing is I'm basically selling product. Okay. So my USP is, if I say that I'm the fastest person, part of my key activities is making sure that you get your things fast. So that is another key activity. I have to deliver in a way in which I position myself. So it really depends on what your value add is or what your unique selling point is. And those kind of become some part of your activities. If we move on to key resources, okay, this is where you're considering what are the resources that you need to start the business, run the business, potentially scale, but start and run, keep the business running. So what are your key resources? You might consider things like legal. So with legal, you're talking about things like the documentation and the agreement that you have with your suppliers, such as who might pay for something if there's a fault. So think deeply about the resources you need. Legal, do you need intellectual property registering, such as a trademark? Try and understand the laws that are required. Is it just copyright? Is it trademark? Is it patent? That sort of stuff. So have a good think about all your key resources you need. Your social media, real estate. I use real estate. But what I mean by that is, where is your branding online? It might be online, it might be offline. So think about, do you want to use social media? which social media do you want to use. Think about all the things that basically you will own and use as a business, these resources that you'll use. So think about that. I'm just going to check in questions.
So whilst you do that, I also like to contribute and say that you need to factor in things like human resource, right? This also forms part of your key resources, because without, and again, it's dependent on the business type you'll be pitching for this project. Look through it carefully. No, even though human, like we rightly said, your human resource will also affect the flow between conception and arrival at the doorstep of the consumer. However, you should know which ones, like I said, look through this and know where you place what. You can, for your business, you can choose that your key resource is human, instead of it being human resource being captured over there, you are going to take it to key partners. Again, we encourage you to use this model that we present in the template to reflect through your business. Doing so will help you in the other stages involved in this project, because every stage is interconnected. So please take the BMC, that's the business model canvas, pretty serious, everything on it, and then as much as possible, tailor it to your business. That'll be all for now.
Thank you so much, Michael. Very good input. Thank you. So let's go back to back to the psychedelic. All right. So we talked a bit now, just recapping. We've talked about partners, activities, resources. Value proposition is really, for me, one of the most important things that you need to define as a business. Why are you in business? You don't just set up business because it looks good. I mean, yeah, obviously, but it's not that obvious, because you need to understand where why is the customer paying you over someone else? And this is why in some businesses, in some industries, some businesses survive and others fail. It's really about what the customer wants. So try and tap into that value, that value chain that the customer understands. And this is where you now set out your value proposition.
Yeah, quickly, and that will be, at the end of the day, this is what the consumer is paying for. The value proposition, that's what they are paying for. There may be 1,001 people out there. Why should their dollar come to you and not the other person? And this is your differential. This is what makes you unique. Should we consider legal? This is what can be patented. This is what you can trademark. This is what becomes your barrier to entry. So ask yourself, are you that unique when it comes to this particular thing, the value proposition? And I believe every business out there is unique in a way. Find your unique spot, find your pearl and sell it.
Thank you for that, Michael. In fact, I wanted to ask, I just want to throw things out there a little bit. What unique businesses can you guys think about, just in terms of just thinking? What businesses out there do you think are doing amazing, unique things that you've never seen before? Things that you find quite creative, things that make them stand out. Think about those businesses, what they're doing, how they're putting it out there, okay? How they're differentiating themselves from others, okay? And try and understand how they sort of highlight that one thing that makes them unique. It doesn't have to be multiple things. It could just be one thing. So please just think about that. Okay. Great. So I'm going to move on. So questions? No questions, guys? Nothing at all?
I guess everyone is good. No questions yet.
Okay. You're on those questions, are you, Desmond?
There is a question on from YouTube, and it reads, is this the live about how to develop a business plan? Is this live about developing a business plan? And it's coming from Nikunu. Sorry about it if I got it wrong, but that's the question, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so when you say business plan, I mean, there's so many ways in which to put forward a business plan. Again, it depends on the business you're trying to create, and it depends on the audience who's going to receive the business plan, right? So if you're presenting to a bank, they want to see certain things. We can call it a business plan. I suppose you could call it a business plan, right? We've just called it a submission template. So yes, it is a business plan basically. And this is, yes, is designed to help you understand how to complete a good submission for the Bright Ideas 2020 challenge. I hope that answers your question, Nit. Okay, Antoinette, you have a question. Do you want to fire your question off? And Nit, do let us know if that answered your question. I'm just going to assume that's a yes. So I'm going to move on, okay? I'm just going to move on. Just make sure.
Actually, Nate confirmed that you've answered his question here.
Okay, that's great. I'm sorry, there seems to be a delay on my side, so I can't see the questions as fast. But yes, thank you so much for that, Michael. I'm going to move on. Oh, Antoinette's just asked the question. Thank you so much, Antoinette, for your question. Okay, so Antoinette, the business can be anything you want. It could be tangible or intangible. I suppose by that you mean a service or a product, physical product. That's not really the criteria. The criteria is just that it's got to be easy and easy to launch, easy to design, within a budget, legal, and pandemic
proof. That's very important, legal.
Yeah, legal and pandemic proof. So it's something that obviously, if we're talking about you want to launch a new airline, that's going to be a bit difficult in this pandemic. So that's just an example. Obviously, it won't even fit the budget. But Antoinette, I hope I've answered your question. Please let us know if you're good. And if you have any follow-up questions, let us know as well. Great. Okay, so I'm going to move on because we got up to key resources. Thank you so much for that, by the way. No, value proposition. So we're going to talk a bit about customer channels and customer relationships. So in terms of customer relationships, we're talking about things like segments, okay? So you have a customer base. Now within that customer base, who is in that customer base? Are you able to understand from a demographic point of view? So it could be age, it could be job, location, their educational level. So by understanding how your customer base is made up, maybe you can even understand the interest and the reason why they come to you. I mean, if you're doing something or selling something or a service that appeals to people who are, let's say, moving house or getting married and all that kind of stuff, okay, you know that, well, if you're getting married, they're probably not 70 years old. Just saying. I'm assuming that's safe to say. Yeah, right? Yeah, well, I think it's really important. So, for example, life insurance, you probably need to be doing it to people below 16. So it's really important to understand who is your customer and why, because once you understand who your customer is and you also understand your value proposition, it makes it once you understand relate and also understand your value proposition, it makes it better and also innovate for them. Michael, did you want to add something there? Michael, did you want to add something?
Yeah, on customer segmentation, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Good. So one of the key things and the main reasons why you need this particular component in your submission is this. With this, you're able to channel resources appropriately. Like Shelley rightly said, if you're into, assume you're into the production of diapers, no need for you to waste time advertising to people in their 70s. Probably their grandparents, yeah, but on the normal, it's parents actually who buy these things. So being able to segment, and even with the same message, like I said, probably diapers, with customer segmentation, you'll be able to know what message to package for which group. Maybe you are dealing with, you have a special clientele base. Probably you are saying you are into the diaper business. However, you have a relationship or some form of agreement with a particular group, let's say market women. You'll be able to do this, know who makes up your market or who makes up your consumer base when you're able to segment them so that your message won't be a one fit jacket for all. Think through your business, think through who might get it. And with this, you'll be able to, and for example, let's be real, this whole project is on a budget, right? So within that budget, one of the key things as an entrepreneur you need to know is how to limit or work with the budget. And it's for some of these reasons we are asking you to put down all these terms. Most of the businesses you're going to pitch are still in the maybe ideation stage. We get it. But if you're able to submit all these, we're able to assess your level of understanding of that which you need funding for. So guys, market segmentation or customer segment is really important. Know who gets what with your business. Some customers may be in your base, but they may not end up being actual clients, but they may be they may be recommending you to others, but they are still part of your base, right? Know who falls where within your desired group, and by doing so, you need to segment them. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for that. And there's a point that you made actually, which is about someone might be in your customer group. They might not be buying from you. They can also be acting as advocates. So even though they know that you're not selling, so for example, let's just say I like Maybelline, right? Wow, an amazing product, but I maybe don't buy Maybelline because they might not make makeup in my skin tone. But I've heard amazing things, so I can be an advocate for them to someone else who would use Maybelline. Do you see what I mean? So think about your people, I guess they're stakeholders as well, and what they're made of and why they're interested in you and how they appeal to you, because it's only by understanding that you can engage and talk to them and basically bring them into your sales funnel. And when I say sales funnel, it's not just about sales, it's also about the knowledge and the awareness. Okay, so think very deeply about that, because you're creating not just a business, but a brand that is supported by communities. I do want to give an example. I think there were some riots that happened in the UK, and there's a brand called Nando's in the UK. Does anyone know Nando's? Good chicken, I could tell you that. Yeah. So Nando's is fantastic with its branding. I would suggest anyone who is really good or who really interested on how to promote their business on social media, take a look at Nando's and how they do social media. They tapped into the student sector, and the students are so passionate about Nando's. They actually went to stand outside Nando's shops because shops were being attacked, and protected the Nando's shops. So that is customer buy-in. So if you know your customer, okay, you basically got a business, and then go along the journey with not just with one product, but pretty much with any product that you launch that kind of, satisfies the brand values and that sort of thing. Okay, we're going to move on, unless there are any other comments and questions. I hope that was helpful. Oh, the Nando's. Nando's, yes, of course I can. Or just look up. Sorry, can I ask, Jesse, do you mind just checking out Nando's and just sharing that if you don't mind, just so that I can continue? But thank you. Please keep these.
You go ahead. Okay, I'll attend to it.
Thank you, Desmond. Please keep these sessions interactive. They are for you. So please keep your questions coming. Get as much out of these sessions as much as possible. They're all about you. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Michael. We're going to continue. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, cool. So let's move on. All right, great. I hope you can see my screen. Yes. Okay. Great. So let's move on to we talked a bit about the relationships. Now, if you've understood your customer, we're now talking about things like channels. Okay. So when we talk about channels, the reason why you need to understand your customer is because you need to know how to talk to them. If you're talking to students, you're not going to be advertising in a pensioners magazine, right? That will not be a good idea. So a lot of business seems very complicated and complex and, oh, I don't know how to do this, but it's really all about human relationship and understanding human relationships, human behavior, that sort of thing. So think about yourself and think about, how, if someone was trying to reach me, where would they reach me? And if you represent your own customer, that's perfect. In case you don't, just put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're trying to reach and understand, okay, maybe they use Facebook. I need to get on Facebook and connect with them. What group would I join? What pages would I follow? That sort of thing. So this is where you're looking for the customer channels. Is it traditional advertising? Is it a newsletter? So that kind of stuff is really, really important, which is why you need to understand your customer. Michael, would you like to chip in on that?
Yep, it brings to mind a client of mine in the past, right? So this person was in the service business, and he went up because the whole craze was create an app. The guy invested almost 50% of his capital into developing a world-class app. And this was way back because when he introduced the concept of sharing files, even WhatsApp had not introduced sharing files onto their platform. So, however, he discovered that people were still not accessing his app. So he came to me, we did a bit of some research into his work. We realized the people who were actually subscribing for his service are people who normally work behind a computer. So they don't easily switch to their phones to access apps, but rather they needed a website. Something that can still pop on their screens whilst working so that their bosses won't be like, hey, you're playing with your phone or you're on your phone whilst at work. So this ties in perfectly, channels ties in perfectly with segments. Forgive me if I'm going to dilly-dally between these two. However, knowing your segments will influence channels, cutting down costs. And this comes at the right time, and this is the right time for us to have a challenge like this. Globally, economies are shutting down. People are not really open to opening their purse. So for you to get through to them, you need to get through to them in the right channels. There are certain channels where when you use it, people will just be turned off because one, they won't even visit it. And they've also been prejudiced to certain platforms, thinking that, oh, this is just childish, this is just for jokes, right? However, if you know your segments probably, you know where and when to reach with which people. Even with, I don't want to mention or give out anything. However, it can even go as far as times. What times to send what out on which platform. So guys, there's another crucial bit. The customer channels. It will go as far as even affecting your cost of customer acquisition. How much you need to spend to acquire a customer. The right channels has been proven, and I can attest based on my own experience that it cuts down cost greatly. So think through this, think through your idea, and shoot it out. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. That was incredible. Very powerful, very true. I do want to pick up on some questions and clarify some assertions in the comment section. So Antoinette, customer segmentation does have to do with the target audience in the grandest scheme of things. The segmentation part is understanding who is in that audience. You have to really get to grips, like get nitty gritty, because for example, if you're targeting people in a different country, that will completely change your marketing. If you're targeting someone in Russia, you have to do it in Russian. Do you know what I mean? There's no point targeting someone in Russia and speaking French. So understanding who your customer is defines the approach that you take to them, including not just the words you use, but also the channels that you use to capture them. There's another question. Okay, there was something about I think I put it up before. It says, how can you also assess the competence of someone you want to employ as a manager to manage your business? Is it advisable you leave the business in the care of a person whom you have employed without interference? And how do you monitor his or her progress? Michael, do you want to take this one? I have an interesting answer to this one.
First off, I want to answer it in context of the projects we are having, right? So for this challenge, ideally, it's something you're supposed to run yourself, ideally. But speaking to the greater scheme of things, as in now your business has gone through the ups and downs, you've scaled up, you're that major, is it advisable you leave a business in the care of someone? Even the question itself kind of answers itself. Why are you giving out, delegating your dream to someone without doing the necessary checks you need to do on the person? So speaking to the greater scheme of things, that's, I'm repeating myself, that's, you've gone through the project, you've won, you're scaling up. You don't need to give your dream to someone to run on your behalf when you've not done the necessary checks. Yet at some point, you have to involve people. But because of how precious and how close you hold this to heart, you have to make the right choice. You just can't, it's just like dating. You can't just date anyone. Take time, because this is your life and you're dreaming here. So that's what I'll say to the question here.
Yeah, I hope I'm permitted an answer as well. I think that to leave someone without interference is very dangerous. You better pray that you can have a business to come back to. Because if it goes well, it becomes really, they put their stamp on it. I mean, that's great, but then you lose the connection with your business. If you don't know your business inside and out, that is a big risk, okay? So it's running well, it's amazing, you've got this fantastic person, but you don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on. Let's just say something happens and you're sued. It's your head on the line, not the person who was running it, right? You're responsible. So I would never do that. If I was going to employ someone, I would make sure that they are working independently, okay, meeting deadlines as per agreed. You know, they have metrics to manage their performance. They have, Michael, you want to jump in?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add to what you said about metrics, because somehow, some way, in our part of the world, we've equated supervision as interference. We've interpreted querying people, asking legit questions as interfering. So the best way to do is have a set of metrics, KPIs, if you choose to call it them, by which you can assess. So the person knows this is what is expected of me and what I need to do. Otherwise, if you let things loose and you call everything interference, some of the things are not interference. It's just you asking legitimate questions. Like again, I said, this is your baby, this is your dream. Why just let it go like an absentee father? Don't do that.
Yeah. Very, very important. Sorry, we should move on, but this is a really key question. And another thing is you should set an expectation about how you wish certain things to be delivered. The means is not, what's the word? Means to an end. It's not just do it anyhow, deliver this no matter how. No, because the how you do it determines the way in which the brand expresses itself. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to deliver this to the customer. How you do it, are you fast, intact, good looking? Because when I say good looking, beautifully packaged, protected, that all determines the brand. Okay, people pay extra for branding. Branding is not a logo. Branding is the whole experience. So yes, these are some of the things that you need to, especially when you're working. So, we're assuming that we're talking about someone you have employed to do something in your office. You could also employ a third party to execute something. Outsourcing. If someone is doing something for you as an outsourcer, they need to do that thing according to your brand values, standards, and just, that expectation you set with customers. So it's very, very important to keep an eye out and to measure those metrics as you go along. Thank you for that. A good question. Got us all fired up. So I think I'm going to move on. Great. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. It's very good feedback for us. Right. So let's get back to the business model canvas. Okay. So we talked about relationships, we talked about channels, we talked about segments. Now let's talk about cost structure and revenue. So obviously cost and revenue determines your profit, or a mixture of them determines your profit. So very, very, very important. This is where you're going to be looking at, well, let's start with revenue first. How are you going to make money? Where are you earning? What is making you money? So for example, if you are running a TV company, okay, where's your money coming from? Because it's not obvious, right? So you might say, well, I'm going to create films, or I'm going to create short stories, or what all sorts, a manner of things, a matter of content, but that does not generate revenue. So that's not, it's when you need to understand what is the value in that content that is consumed by the customer, and is that customer going to pay for it? And if they are going to pay for it, how are they going to pay for it? Is it going to be through streaming? Is it revenue that is going to be earned per every time it's streamed, like pay as you go? Or is it going to be subscription? How often? How much? Because pricing is important. Where are you going to place it? Are you going to do earn revenue through partners, such as let people sell on your behalf, okay, and you give them money, but you also earn from their sales? So revenue is very, very important, because no revenue, no business. Unfortunately, it determines your cash flow. Michael, I know you have something to say about that, so I hope.
Revenue. Shelley,
Show me
you know
the
what?
meaning.
My thoughts will actually encompass cost structure. So why don't you take it off, and then I'll just comment on both at the same time.
Yeah, that's fine. So obviously we've talked a bit about revenue, which is great, but then also your costs. So I'll give you an example. I sell on Amazon, and a lot of people, you've seen it on YouTube, earn £1,000 a day, earn this a day. Yeah, great. That's your top line. That's your revenue. Sorry. Yeah, basically. So you're earning £1,000 a day. What is your cost? If your cost is 1,100, that's not great. So you have to really understand your cost structure. What are your fixed costs, such as, maybe your rent, subscriptions, so for example, to sell on Amazon, I use Amazon because that's the example we've chosen. You have to pay them every month to sell on Amazon. So that is a fixed cost. That has to be factored into your cost structure, basically. And that cannot, it's not variable. You've also got variable costs, which change. It could change by, usage. So pay as you go is more variable. It's not fixed. So you have to think about fixed costs, variable costs. Variable costs gives you a bit more room to maneuver depending on where you are in your business. Utilities is another fixed cost. If you have a physical office, it does not apply to every business. So like we said with all these BMCs, it depends on the business that you wish to launch. Michael, I'm going to hand over to you.
All right, Shelley. One of the things I've found out in my experience with entrepreneurs is they equate revenue as profits. So when they make the first dollar, oh, I've made a profit. Nope. Revenue does not indicate that. So as you set up your business, as you do your BMC, the business model canvas, please and please again, don't dream so much at the revenue session. For every dollar you make, go back to the session Shelley just mentioned, the cost structure. How much dollars does it cost you to acquire that dollar? Think about how much, and you need to do a very good cost structure. Don't run over it. Don't think, oh, I just bought this for that. No. Cost everything, including social cost. costs everything. Without that, you can't have a fair idea of what your revenue is. And please, as you go about this stuff, don't be too. I would like you to be very objective and realistic in your planning. Passion is never profit. Structure it appropriately. Your operational cost. Let me tell you a quick one. If your operational costs, let me put it this way: if your variable cost is too much than your operational cost, your business is never going to see the daylight. Yes, you may operate, but never be able to make a profit. Cost it appropriately. And again, I'll go back to your customer relations, your customer segmentations, and your customer channels. Because at the end of the day, product or service, it's going to end up with someone. At the end of the day, people are going to, and recent times, research has proven that people are not just buying products and services, they are buying into feelings, what your products makes them feel. How are they perceived if they are supposed to even wear the shirt you sew? What does the brand speak of? We all know of the telco, the gadget company, where now everyone is rushing to, and when they take their selfies, they ignore that they forget that their device have a front camera, but everyone uses the rear camera so that people will see the logo. Get the feeling of owning that device, owning that brand. So please, in your customer segmentation, in your channeling, in your cost, how much is it going to cost you to get a revenue of $1? Make sure you are able to think through this. Don't dream through this. Please think through your cost, especially the variable bits, because most of the times we forget certain bits. Yes, you may be, your cost structure will be informed. Do you outsource certain parts, deliveries? Do I employ or do I outsource it to another company? Your cost structure, and also your business type, the model of business you're operating. Are you a non-for-profit or are you for profit? What type are you? Think through this, and again, each BMC is going to be business specific. I don't expect all folks in the non-profit sector should have the same BMC, or all those in the for-profit have the same BMC. Your costs, again, will be a reflection of the type of business you need to run or the type of business you want to run. I've heard people give brilliant submissions or pitches. They make, when they speak or when they pitch, it's for profit, but when they present their papers, it's not for profit. Please go through your structure, your core structure. Factor in anything possible that can be factored in. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really good, Michael. Actually, you'd be surprised what counts as a cost. I mean, even down to if you're importing something in, VAT, duty, stamp, what was it, customs and things you would never think of when you're buying something. So for example, I have one product that I get from China for less than $1. It's 86 cents. By the time it's in the UK, it's about £13. It's just shocking. You'll be surprised by how much the costs add up. And that again feeds into your customer. Does your customer see the value in paying that much to you for that product? So it all is connected. It's all connected, and you want to try and keep the cost low because obviously you have a bit more room. Michael, do you want to?
Yeah, I'd like to chip in another one. Your cost structure, especially this goes to those who will be looking at multiple product lines or multiple service lines. Your cost structure will inform which ones need to go together at the end of the day to reduce costs. Profit is hugely influenced by your cost of acquisition, cost of getting it out there. So I just wanted to chip in that a proper cost structure will inform which products should go together, so that when you are advertising this single one within that same 10-second slot you have, you can advertise this and that. Thank you.
That's a very, very good point, actually. One of the things that Amazon does is it says frequently bought together. So if you get that, the cost of acquisition, that customer acquiring that next thing is cheap. You don't even have to market that other thing because it was just done. You know what I mean? And there was another thing I was going to say, but it's just gone out of my head. But yeah, the cost of acquisition, personally, that's another thing that people don't think about. What is the cost of acquiring that customer? Okay, so these kinds of costs need to be factored into your cost structure, because again, that eats away at your profit margin, which comes from your revenue. So again, revenue is very, very different from profit. Okay, I'd love to see some questions if you guys have any. If you're enjoying this, please like the video, give us a thumbs up, let us know that you're understanding and picking up what we're putting down, because I think Michael, you're doing a fantastic job. Really appreciate it's good info coming here. If not, I'm gonna get back to the BMC. I'm a bit slow, so I don't know if comments are coming through, but I'm gonna get back to the BMC anyway. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I think for this basically has summed up the business model canvas. Of course, if there are any questions, let us know. If no questions come to mind at the moment, just think about it. Let us know as we go along. I'm sure more questions will come up. The next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at your customers. There's a big focus on customers here. The reason is because no customer, no business. So this is Amma. Effie Boache. So Effie Boache, she's, for example, how you would express, articulate, or identify a user persona. This is someone who would buy the bags that are sold by this fictitious Amazon business. We've identified who she is in terms of her age, her work, her family situation, her location, her archetype, personality type, traits, and that sort of thing. And also just the kind of comment she would say, you know, what would she say to someone? I want a sturdy bag to move garden waste. She's obviously a keen gardener. So if you see her bio, it all ties in. She's a young doctor. She lives with her family. She's into healthy gardening. She grows her own fruits and vegetables to a limited amount. She's got young kids and she likes durable quality products. So someone like this would not really care too much about price. Obviously, she's not going to pay ridiculous amounts, but she's not price sensitive. She wants something that, you know, lasts long and serves her well. Personality wise, you know, average lady, analytical, doctor, scientist, loyal, not too loyal. So you want to keep her on side. She's someone who could move very quickly. She's got the means, she's got the funds, remember. So someone like Effie is someone that you want to keep going with you. You want to keep engaging. You want to serve well. You want to give her great customer service when she calls up. You know, that sort of person. She's not the person who will stick by you if you let her down. This is where you're trying to understand your customer. She's also active. In terms of preferred channels, she's young, you know, social media, mobile marketing, perfect for her. This is someone who could potentially come across your brand or your custom, your product, your offering on something like Facebook Messenger marketing. She would actually buy through that. So this is where you might want to look at your channels again, which is something we discussed. Goals, convenience, speed, durability, sustainability. Frustrations, obviously she's struggling in the garden. She wants good quality stuff. She's struggling with long delivery time, so speed is a factor for her. Now, we talked a bit about price. She also cares about convenience, safety, and speed. Now, this level of understanding in terms of who your customer is going to be is important. This is how you're now going to shape your business proposition to capture your customer's imagination and bring them into your sales funnel. Whether it starts with awareness, whether they start as an advocate to someone else for your business, that doesn't matter. Pull them in. And this sort of understanding is what does that. Michael, did you want to say something?
and I'm going to tie this in with the general project, right? This is going to influence your social proof of your idea. How successful you're able to identify people and how likely they are to buy into your idea. That's what the project will seek to test at a later stage, known as the social proof. Again, each thing we are discussing here has a long lasting or a long bearing on the final decision of the project or the project facilitators and founders. They need to know how good you are at thinking through your business. Knowing, for example, assuming this persona we encountered was highly introverted, such a person will not buy into a street carnival kind of campaign about the business. It will be just a sort of nuisance to him or her because of their disposition, their temper, the type of personality they are. So knowing these people, again, like I said earlier on, will have a long-lasting effect on your costs of acquisition. Such a person won't mind messenger advertising. Such a person won't mind inboxing them or something because of their persona. They are that reserved. They don't want to be out there. So don't spend all your money on marketing outdoor and you go like, hey, we did this campaign, we hired this this artist, and yet still we couldn't make it. It's because you've not been able to identify your customers, and that is what we will test later on in the social proof. So guys, think through your business and how likely who will purchase what about your business. Some people will not purchase the product, but they'll purchase the idea and then become advocates for you. So segment them properly, identify them, be able to drop on the average the persona who you want to sell to. And you need to do this using metrics that you gather from your potential client base, and that's what we are going to test later on again in the social proof. So bear in mind and know that nothing here is going to be taken for granted. Thanks.
Very good one. So on that one, I'd like to talk a little bit about, this is a tip for you guys who are listening today. Okay, good that you showed up. Tips and tricks. That's the whole point of joining these sessions. If you want to try and understand your customer, one of the ways to do that is to query a database. One of the largest databases on the planet is Facebook. Facebook is a huge marketing machine. Now, if you know Facebook and you don't know about audience insights, well, that's an interesting one. So what you want to do is go on to Audience Insights if you can. It's a free tool. Okay, go log on and start trying to understand your customer. There's a way to use it. I can't go into that right here, but you can query Facebook and try and say, okay, I'm trying to reach these people in Ghana within this age group. You'll start seeing trends, ages, interests. Now, when I say interests, Michael talked earlier about segmentation and knowing how to reach your customer. For example, if you're going to market on social media or digital marketing, let's just say digital marketing, Google is a very different animal from Facebook. Facebook is all about interest marketing. Nobody goes onto Facebook to buy like they would on Amazon. On Amazon, they're there to buy, and all you need to do is capture their information. It's a sales funnel that you just says, okay, they're here to buy, capture their attention, make sure they don't go to the next customer, give them the right price, give them the right conditions, bam, you've got a sale. Facebook is very different, where you come across something, someone recommends it, okay, got it, yep, it goes viral, they share, and then they buy. It's a very different kind of sales experience. It's called interruption marketing because you're interrupting their experience and putting your product in front of them. They might not buy today. On average, I think they have to see you at least 3 times before they buy, before they trust you. That's why there's a concept which is remarketing, retargeting. I don't know if you know that sometimes you go on Facebook and you say, I was just thinking about that. How did they know I was thinking about that? It's because you didn't search. They call it what's the word? Pixel. They pixeled you. All right, that's a secret. And that pixel finds you on the internet and puts that thing in your face over and over and over again. There's no coincidence in life. That is them interrupting your experience to capture your attention, okay, until the day you give in. Okay, that's kind of what that is. Whereas people going on Google, people going on Amazon, it's all about, hey, I'm going to buy, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Google shopping, then it's not interruption. Michael, do you want to jump in?
Yeah. So not all businesses will be able to go on feed, or probably a bit the sort of thing you want to bring to market. You, for some strange reasons, you think the internet is not going to work. You can pick this data from so many places. Guys, are you with me? From so many places. It could be just from the conversations you hear a certain group of people say. And this with a big assumption that your business you think doesn't need the internet for that. That would be interesting though. However, you can pick such info from all over. I remember a friend of mine just watched a single video on weddings. And for the next 2 months, all that Facebook showed her was wedding gowns, wedding gowns, wedding gowns. So it can also be something like that. Probably, again, you said you don't need the internet, but amongst your group of friends, maybe the product you want to bring to market is for your age group. What's normally the conversation your age group had? And since you think yours won't work on the internet, but your social groupings from community clubs, schoolmate, what do you guys talk about? You can pick all these things from there. Ideas are not always born from one place, and again, it's business specific. I don't think if you are going to into the arms business, you're going to look for conversations among your friends. However, again, as we dream big, we should think about the project we seek to embark. This is a 30-day challenge, right? So think about something that will fit in the context of what we are doing. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fantastic input. Actually, you're absolutely right. You can get inspiration from anywhere. It doesn't have to be, you know, there's no one sort of source for inspiration. You know what I mean? So that's the, you know, just be aware, stay awake, listen to the conversations that people are having, listen to how people are talking about, oh, I need this, oh, this is always wrong, and figure out how can I solve this problem for this person. That is how some of the best businesses start. So that's very good input. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to move on. There are no questions at the moment, I think, so it's all very quiet, guys. If you are liking this video, please let us know. There's a question that has come in. Thank you, Antoinette. You're still with us. There's a question. Michael, I'm going to let you have this question. She says, I'd like to know if delivery still needs to be considered if the cost structure in the case where the customer pays for the delivery. It's just a transfer.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because at the end of the day, one of the things you need to consider in such a structure is, Shirley, shouldn't we be giving out this? Shouldn't that be part of the challenge, right? Anyway, let me just say something just on that. Assuming the delivery guy is taking $10 to deliver a product, do you then add the $10 straight onto the cost of the product? So maybe originally it's being sold for $90. Now you add the $10 of for delivery to that. That alone can turn off your buyer because suddenly it becomes expensive. So you need to factor in and then see how you can maybe subsidize. And that's how come I know some businesses will say, okay, if you want to buy one, then we're going to sell it to you at this delivery rate. But if you buy two, we are going to do this about the cost of sale. So it should be factored in because you don't want to give everything off to the customer. No matter how good you are, people don't want to part away with their hard-earned dollar. So that's what I'll say about that. But the rest is up to you to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, fine. Just checking, Desmond. Let's just see if Desmond's around. Desmond, you around? I think he's having some troubles with his internet. So, Antoinette, before we move on, just let us know, give us a thumbs up if that has answered your question, and then we're going to move on very swiftly. Thank you for your questions, by the way. Much appreciated. Ibo, I think we answered that question. Great. Okay, so let's move on. Michael, how are you handling it? How are you hanging in there?
Good.
You good?
Actually, it's been very productive. The sort of questions we are receiving is actually bringing to bear what we want from them at the end of the day. So, very interesting. Interesting questions. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, guys. Keep them coming. Okay, let's keep going back. So we looked at one customer persona. I'm now going to introduce you because what we want to see is not just one. We've given you a template, but we want to see your understanding of the type of customer. So this is where we talked about segmentation. We want to see the different types of customer represented in the personas that you present. Okay, I hope that's clear. So now we're going to look at another type of customer. This person is not a private consumer. They are a business consumer. His name is Kofi Mensah. He's actually a professional landscape artist. So it's a gardener. It's a posh name for a gardener from Accra. He lives, sleeps, and eats design and keen to build a landscaping empire. In 2019, he headlined the Ghana Gardeners Festival. That tells you a lot about this person, I think. You know, durability helps me reduce my costs. So he's price sensitive. He's a youngish guy, gardener, lives alone, Accra, entrepreneurial, creative. So all of these things, you've got to think about your customer, who they are, what triggers them, what excites them, what turns them off. This is all how you show us that you've thought about your customer and what, how that you're going to reach them, but also their motivations for buying. As you can see, his brands, Apple's very popular, by the way, both of them liked Apple. His brands are Apple, MTN, LinkedIn, and Jumia. Before we move on away from the personas, I just want to see if there are any questions about the personas, because I think it's something that we've been really keen to try and emphasize in terms of understanding your customer. Okay, so how do we get the templates? Okay, the templates will be shared. Antoinette, thank you. Glad we've been able to answer your question. So I will share the templates right now. Okay, submission templates. Okay, I was just wondering, do you want the sample template or the editable one? I'll share the sample one. So this is the sample one, so you can see what we've already done. Okay, that's the address. And if you let me know when you've taken that down, then I'll also show you where you can find the editable template. But actually, if you go to the submission guide, which you should be using, that has links to all of the templates that you need, including when and how to use them. So please refer to the submission guide. That is really where you should be going. Okay, Michael, I think I'm going to keep going on. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the strengths, weaknesses, obviously the SWOT analysis. So just give me a quick second while I flick back to display. Right. And I'm doing something revolutionary. You'll see in a second. So let's hope it works. All right. One second, guys. Okay. Just before I go back, are there any more questions? Any more questions? And the guides, you guys got everything you want? Okay, great. Okay. I'm just going to wait to see if there are any more questions before we move on. All right, fine. Okay, I think I'll move on now. One second. So basically, let's talk a little bit about the SWOT analysis. So the SWOTs are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Just to help your thinking, the strengths and the weaknesses tend to be internal. These are things that you should basically work on internally, right? So you might have a super quality product that nobody else can get. Or you might have, you're able to deliver convenience maybe through a technology or through exclusive access to a delivery network that nobody else has. Or even if nobody else has, you could say even just a few people have, but that is a strength. So it's a competitive advantage. Weaknesses, on the other hand, may be that, for example, as with our fictitious Amazon brand, we've got no access to customer data, which makes retargeting and remarketing very expensive. So we talked about our fictitious Amazon brand. Amazon doesn't give you access to your customer data. So that is a weakness. It's also, well, basically a risk. So you need to consider very well what your strengths and weaknesses are internally within the business. You might have a lack of a certain skill. So for example, if you want to sell on Amazon, you have to be extremely good at keyword research. So if you're not good at that, you may choose to outsource that, which could also be a risk, but it's a choice that you have. Whereas on the flip side, you have opportunities and threats. Opportunities and threats tend to be external. So those tend to be things like market, competitors, behaviors. I put hijacking. So on Amazon, for example, how hijacking happens a lot, and you do need to factor that into your risk management strategy, because you need to know how to do it, how to sort of respond to such things. Michael, do you want to say a few words on that?
Can you hear me, Shelley?
Yes, you're back.
Yes, you're back. Yeah, good. So I would just like to throw light on opportunities, right? Opportunities is linked to your value. Remember from the BMC slide Shelley shared, opportunities is linked to that. And I'd like to share this experience a friend told me about, that some time ago in the US, an airline company was adjudged the best, and it was accredited #1. So the guy who placed us in the company which placed second, how were they going to exploit this? They sat down and they just brainstormed and came up with a single tagline. Because we are #2, it simply means the queue at our end is shorter. And what I'm trying to put across with this point is, be innovative. You may not necessarily have to invent something new under the sun.
Ooh, I think we may have lost Michael. Is everyone else there? Am I still connected? We may have lost Michael. Give him a few minutes to come back. In the meantime, what I can carry on is with Michael was saying, be innovative. So one other thing you may wish to consider is that when you're coming to a market new, when you're the new kid on the block, you have the opportunity to do things differently. You have the opportunity to have studied what people are doing, to have learned what they're doing well, and to do more of that, and to learn what they're doing badly, and to innovate and solve that problem. So you have people talk about first, I think it's the first, I've forgotten the word, first in advantage, first party advantage, something early, and it's not always the right thing for everyone. So sometimes it's good to come in later and you've seen, oh, we do it this way, we could do it that way, that sort of thing. So you always have an opportunity when you're new to do something different, to understand how the customers are behaving, just like Netflix. Netflix came in after the BBC. BBC been around for a long, long time. Netflix has completely dethroned the BBC. So too has Facebook. They not YouTube. They do things differently. It's on demand. It's free, mainly, and the BBC is paid. So that's the opportunity you have as well. I'm just going to look quickly at the questions. So healed by truth. If you look at the forms, so I'll give you the submission form. I showed the submission form a little bit earlier before. So if you look at the submission form, or if you also want, why don't you join our the Gen X chat group, and then we can give you some assistance later. Okay, so that's the Gen X chat. If you join that group, I'll be able to send you the link a bit later. I hope I've answered your questions. I know I'm a bit delayed. I'm a bit slow because my connection is a bit slow. So I'm not sure if I'm seeing all the questions coming through, but I hope that those are the questions answered. And I'm going to move on right now. So everything. Are there any questions? I'm just wondering if there are any questions before I move on. Okay, so okay, great. So I'm going to move on right now. I hope Michael comes back. I think he's been disconnected, so it's just me for the moment. But yeah, let's continue. If you're finding this information useful, please let us know in the comments, okay? Just so we know that we're doing the right thing and are providing value for yourself. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. We're going to talk a bit about the pestle analysis. The pestle analysis is just looking at the current landscape in which you're launching your business. So you have to look at things like political landscape. Is what you're doing politically relevant? Or when I say relevant, obviously, if you're doing something that is highly, I would say, against policy, it's going to struggle a lot. So the political environment, the policies that are in place really determine how easy it is to do the business that you're going to do as well. Okay. So we talked about things like minimum wage. So if you have to pay minimum wage, you have to factor that into your cost, unless you want to. There are workarounds, which sorry, that sounds wrong. You must always pay minimum wage. It's very bad not to pay minimum wage, but you may choose to go to a right shoring location. So right shoring, I think the word right shoring is better. Does anyone know what right shoring is? I will explain if let me know if you know what it is. But right shoring gives you an option to get to reduce your labor costs. So, for example, one of the things that are absolutely frowned on are, slave labor. You can't do that. There's a current scandal where one of the big brands, Boohoo, has been exposed for paying people way below minimum wage. I think it's way below 50% even, and have crammed them in together to work together, and has actually spread the coronavirus amongst their employees. Sorry, so yeah, not great. So look at things like the laws, the policies, any minimum wage requirements. Social distancing rules is a factor right now, especially now, because in some countries it is illegal to operate in a certain way. In the UK, so you want to look at which country you're in and look at the requirements that are being made of you. In the UK, what they're saying is that the workplace has to be COVID safe, or you let people work at home. So we're also looking at things like the economic factors. So economic factors look at things like interest rates, the cost of borrowing, which is really important. So if the cost of borrowing is very high, you're basically restricted. It's very expensive to borrow money, so you cannot really do things in the way that you wish to do. You cannot leverage anything. You're kind of like restricted in terms of what you can do, because there's very little money available. Also, credit, right? If your credit lines are non-existent, it just makes it very hard. You might also wish to look at things like socio-cultural. So social-cultural would be things like just give me a second, guys. I just want to check the questions because I'm by myself, so I just want to make sure that I'm not I'm very glad that it is useful. Please like this video, and yes, we'll continue. Welcome back, Michael. It's good to have you back. I'm just letting we've missed you, Michael. It's very echoey in the chamber without you. So we're getting some
Thanks
good
for having
feedback.
me, and sorry about that.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. these guys are finding the information useful, which is really good. So keep asking your questions. Don't feel shy. If you have any scenarios that you'd like us to discuss, please put them out there so that we can try and answer them for you. Okay. Now, in terms of the actual forms, please join the Telegram group where we can actually give you on-hand help to direct you to the forms. Okay. So I'm just going to continue. Michael, I was just talking about the pestle analysis, and I was talking about political landscape, economics, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to get back to that. Okay.
Shirley, let me just pick up on the political, yeah? And what I want to say is, in our part of the world, perception is everything. So it can be from product design to something as trivial as product colors. So you need to be able to, and this all takes us back to knowing your market, knowing your customers, the sensitivities of your market. No matter how great an idea or no matter how great a solution your business seek to or profess, people have sensitivities which you need to respect. So especially with the political atmosphere in your setting, what is it like? In as much as you are profiling customers, profile the political climate in your region or where you seek to start your business. What is it like? Will my business have certain looks? And one of the things I'd like to also say with this is that just because your business has certain looks doesn't mean that you must abandon it. It simply means that your cost is going to go up because you need to advertise more to educate people. However, if you don't do such analysis properly, your business will come to market, you invest so much of this 1K you're going to win into advertising and still say people just didn't buy into the idea. My idea is many years ahead of its time. Nope. Sometimes all you needed to do was profile the political climate. The wording is your slogan or your tagline synonymous to some political power in there? Because I know of a country where Pepsi had an issue here somewhere in Africa just because their colors mimic the colors of a particular political class. So someone wanted to use it for trivial gains. So they are a big brand, they can survive. What about you? You are just a bag. So you need to know the political climate. Everything you're going to do for your customers, do it with your environment. That's what I'll say for now. Thanks.
That's really that's very good input actually. Sorry, there's a question out there. It says, what management style can fit those of us in the eatery business? Michael, would you like to take that one?
Interesting. It's an interesting question, and I'm still thinking about it. Again, I won't be quick to advertise a management style because people and businesses are unique. Just because someone is in the restaurant business and is being autocratic in there but is making his money doesn't mean it will fit with you, because at the end of the day your business is just an expansion of your personality. And if you don't have your attitude or your persona doesn't fit well with your populace, that's why you need to outsource certain things for or hire certain people to run it on your behalf. So I won't advertise or make a claim for a one straight jacket say that, okay, if you want to go into eatery business, you need to be this hospitality industry, right? So one of the bottom line you need to have is your people management skills. You need to be welcoming, you need to be hospitable. From that was 10 all other styles, because with this baseline, you then need to add your unique selling proposition to it. What makes your eatery, yes, everyone is hospitable, but what makes you unique? It then comes into the environment, probably so it's not really about as a single style fits a particular industry. However, there are baselines, and for each tree, since in the hospitality, I would quickly say and comfortably say you need to be welcoming enough and tolerant, because people have different taste buds will mean that different reviews for you. Just because the food tasted nice in your mouth or your staff says it was good doesn't mean that every client will have to toe the same line. So you must be open to criticisms and be open to people's sensitivities. So again, identify how strong you are on the spectrum, and then maximize it. If you need to hire people, hire the appropriate people who are coming in to complement your skill or your style, not people who are going to do otherwise. So that's all I'll say for now.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, we're going to continue. Thank you so much. Right, we're gonna. Okay, so can you see my screen? I'm just wondering, can you see my screen at the moment? Nope.
No.
Okay. 1 second. All right, I just decided to. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So we talked a little about economic, political, socioeconomic. For example, right now, a very topical thing is that we now are experiencing a change in attitude to doing business with China. And now there's a growth of made locally movement. It's very kind of passionate right now. So these things affect whether it's the right time for business, whether it's the right time to launch a certain product, and that sort of thing. The other thing is the size of the target market. Okay, so if you want to market something to a market that is very small, even though the product is very expensive, is that market large enough to sustain the business? You have to think about this. People's spending habits, whether they're willing to spend, and also, even if, for example, pre-pandemic times, people might have been willing, but suddenly those same people are not buying anymore. They're not spending anymore. So you have to think of the wider picture and people's spending habits. Michael, did you want to throw in anything there?
Yeah, again, the marketplace, the economic landscape is never a level field. Your screen is still being shared. Yeah, the economic playground is never level. It goes through cycles.
Yeah.
So whatever idea you seek to bring to bear in this project, I will ask you that look at people or businesses which came to do the same thing as you want to do and learn from where they fell short. This is, and I'm looking at this mainly from the economic point of view. Like you rightly said, people who were ordering certain things 3 months ago are not ordering it now because the landscape has flipped. Your business needs to be, for a business to be to reach its top heights, it needs to go through all cycles and come through unscathed. So that's one reason why I really admire we having this challenge at this particular point in time. This is the worst of the worst. What can you do? It's going to affect everything from ideation to the finished product or to delivery or consumption. This is a perfect time for us to assess legal, political, again, trading with certain or trading or importing from certain countries now can even be perceived as a political statement you are trying to make. Why don't you want to do with us, your locals, but you want to import from probably China? Previously, people would have been okay with it. 3 months ago, people would have been okay with it. But suddenly, you need to assess, and again, like I to bring my comments to an end on this particular thing. Now, like I said, anything you're going to do for customers, do it with your environment. Profiling, their sensitivities. What's the general outlook like? From political to economics. What's even legal? Certain things may be, everyone will be doing it, but is it legal? What legal stuff do you need to do to protect yourself? What are the proofs you need? If you want to go into, for example, someone asked about the eatery stuff. you need to get an approval from the various health people in your sector. Go through the policy, take your time out, read the legal requirements, read what people or profile the society, see what they think about the business. Don't go in thinking you know it all. No matter how brilliant an idea is, there's always a way to improve upon it. There's always a flaw with it. It can just be with your technology. If you are in an area where your internet or your data services isn't the best, how do you still get across? You need to profile your environment, and these are the key things you need to, these are the key indicators you need to do it with. From political to the environment. Guys, think through your business. I've seen more than I need to see in a lifetime. Businesses that I've personally worked with to revive, businesses that people ideated to me, they didn't see the light of day, or they struggled unnecessarily because they failed to do this sort of analysis. It doesn't cost much. And again, if you're able to profile your customers and be able to show proof of concepts with your social proof, some of these things will be validated there for you. So please, let's take it. It's not a cumbersome process. It's just a business going through reflection. You need to do this. And you will, when you're able to do this successfully, you realize that it will be needed all through the lifetime of your business. So guys, this is a free advice. Take it, even though it's appearing as a template, this is one of the most, this is just that make or break point of every business. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. Actually, a lot of the thinking, it's not the what goes on the template. A lot of the thinking happens before you fill the template. Really think about what needs to go on that template. It's not just, okay, I'm just going to do this. Think about everything through. Think about all the interconnectivities between the things we've discussed, the SWOT analysis, the weaknesses, the strengths, the customer segmentation, all of these things think together. Revisit certain sections again. Don't be scared to go back and change this. Actually, this is my value. Actually, this is where I can reach this customer. Look at new technologies that are coming up. Look at new ways of doing business now that there's a pandemic. Anything that is outside has now become an additional risk. So, you know, you need to think about that. A lot of people think about, oh, what industry? Well, it's not as simple as that. If you think of retail, for example, some parts of retail are absolutely flourishing. Delivery, you know, Royal Mail, for example, they do delivery, but they deliver letters. Nobody's delivering letters anymore. Amazon have killed them. Sorry. Right? It's an absolute shock. Royal Mail have been going on for hundreds of years. It's an absolute shock. So you can't say, okay, this whole segment is out, this whole sector is out. No, because within that industry, within that sector, the customer that you're serving, the value that you could be something sustainable. So think at a really granular level, right? And some businesses are good at just one thing, and through they grow and mushroom into and sort of launch other businesses, other service lines. So really think about what is there that I can do that people really want right now that I can do well, okay, and be excellent at. And then you can take that journey onwards, okay? So Michael, are we good? Should I move on? Okay, yeah, guys, thank you. Keep staying up. Yeah. Right, great. So I think, you know, I think in terms of the legal, the environmental, I do want to move on a bit because we've been on for quite a while. And, you know, I just kind of want to get through this. So the legal is basically, obviously, it's got to be legal. You've got to look at, for example, now the African trade, I get confused, free trade area, I get confused. But you know what I mean? That is now doing a lot of work to try and facilitate trade between different countries in Africa. So these are the things you want to look at, the frameworks that are available that offer legal, political, you know, just like even operational benefits. Start looking into your environment, the environment as well. So for example, we're looking at things like the actual environment, the physical environment, okay? The awareness of the impact of the availability of raw materials. So again, in a pandemic state, you're looking at certain things that you can't get as easily anymore because perhaps they come from a very, I don't know, a remote location that has now been shut down. So really think about your environment as well. I'm going to move on very quickly to the money side of things. We spoke a little bit about cost structures. And so now I'm going to look at the accounting side of things, which is your cost summary, your cash flow statement. So what I've done here is purely for illustration purposes again, depending on the business that you're going to do. Let me give you an example. Here we've got things like net income, depreciation, and that sort of stuff. I might want to start a business where I'm not investing anything into real sort of like, hard assets that depreciate, like a car or printer, or it really depends on the kind of business that you're doing. So there's no real, this is the only way to do it. What we want to see is we want you to think about you're starting with a certain amount of money. Where is that money going to be allocated? What is the snapshot? What is the calculation from 1 month to another? So month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. How is your cash projection going to look? Are you expecting to make this much in month 1? Because you've obviously got your costs to start with, then you're going to get your revenue, then you're going to do any other liabilities like VAT, tax, all that. You've got to think about everything, okay? So just plot that out. Some things you might want to remove, some things like investment, you might not need that. Dividends paid, you might not need that. Some things you might want to add. So this is a template that we put there for you to think about how you're going to kind of like, track your costs and look at your cash flow over a certain period of time. Michael, would you like to say anything about this?
This template is where ideally your business will get to, all things being well, okay, all things being equal. This is where your business is going to get to. However, Shelley has said it all. You don't have to bother about things, most of the things in there. But this is how a successful business will look like someday, which I believe most of your businesses will be like in some days to come. However, look out for, and all these things, be honest with yourselves. Don't think certain costs are, these ones are just, nothing is trivial when it comes to cost. You penned out everything. And later, when you're able to do a successful, a very prudent cost structure, you know where what must go and which areas you need to spend less on because of maybe outsourcing. At the end of the day, yours is the cash flow statement is to help you know which parts are taking a chunk out of you, and then which parts are bringing a chunk to you. So guys, no matter the business, every business has a cash flow. I've met people who say, because of what I do, there's every business, as so far as there's some form of transaction going on, you should be able to have a cash flow. No business is too small to have a cash flow, and no business is too big for this type of cash flow. This is where it all began. So guys, think it through. Again, you may not have sales to prove, but we are interested in assessing your thought process, your projection. The cash flow statement alone can be your pitch to someone, an investor. So guys, show us clearly how you are going to think through and how each part or each stage of your thinking is going to cost the business. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that. Okay, great. Let's continue. Let's push on. Thank you. Back to the screen. Oh, gosh. Right, just give me a second, please. I'm having a bit of a technical issue. Right, great. Okay, so we are. So the next thing we're talking about is teams. So I hope you can see my screen. So what we want to see is we want to think about the people that you're going to be working with. Now you are able to join this as one person alone, okay? But if you want, you can join with 4 people with whom you're going to work with to make this happen. And what we want to see is, we want to see obviously the presentation, who they are, the role they're going to hold, and also a quick bio. So the bio here should be very short and succinct, and what they're going to do and what they're going to bring to the table. You will also have the opportunity via the submission form and the template to upload the CVs. So this is basically what it looks like. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. So I'm going to move ahead. We're going to look at the plan. So the plan, this again is for illustration purposes. The plan is basically, if we're going to say we're going to work together, design and launch, design during month 1, okay, that's 4 weeks, okay. This is just illustration purposes. You may wish, and I would suggest that you break down the tasks into specific tasks, so you have visibility of the things that you want to see and you feel must happen before we launch. So before we launch, I mean, I'm saying that I'm going to be working with the person who wins this for 4 weeks solid. But before those 4 weeks, there are certain things that you may want to prepare in advance. Just do your research. I think that's something that's absolutely crucial, especially after this conversation. Research, market research, competition research, research into how to market, what the trends are, technologies that support the business proposal that you're working on. Do all that research up front, okay? And then use this template to articulate all the steps that you plan to do. The blue indicates the activities, so those are planned activities. Use the diamonds, the orange diamonds, to indicate any milestones. So for example, milestone 1 is where you kind of launch, okay? Milestone 2 for my fictitious business is my partnership proposal is launched as well. So I do want to know if you guys have any questions about this. Michael, I'm just wondering if you have any comments as well, but I'm also going to look at the questions.
I'm good at this stage, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. Because I thought it was pretty self-explanatory as well. All right, fine. Let's move on. So we come to the end of this basically, and now we're going to move swiftly on to any Q&As that you have, questions that you have. I think we've answered a lot of questions actually. And this is really important. Last but not least, we're looking at the risk response plan. So I believe every business should have a risk register. And the risk register is basically events that are happening. Risks for me are future uncertainty. It's not, most people think risks are bad. I disagree. I'll give an example of a good risk. So in this fictitious Amazon business, there's a risk that there's going to be a global pandemic, which is going to shut down the shops. So in this case, our risk response will be exploited. Fantastic. Not for the global pandemic, of course, but the fact that if shops are shut, people are going to come and shop with us, right? Contingency is increase the stock on hand and in anticipation of a boost in online sales. Trigger, global pandemic announcement, okay? So then you're set up, right? You can take advantage of that risk. And remember, a risk is a future uncertainty that could happen or it may not happen. There's also another example, a risk, for example, you've got Amazon that charges you commission, and there's a risk they could increase their commission. So in that case, what you could say is, well, I'm going to share that risk, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to build that risk into my price. This is a bad risk, but you manage it by sharing it. Another type of shared risk is insurance. So you can manage the risk of damage or any other, problem with insurance policies. But in this case, where the price goes up, I'm going to say, I'm going to share it. Customers not going to be happy, but I'm going to build the increase into the retail price. That way, it does not affect my bottom line. The trigger would be that Amazon, for example, communicates that they're going to increase their commission, and bang, that's your trigger to take that action. So I think that's pretty clear as well. Michael, do you have any questions on that one?
One of the things I would, and I won't spend a lot of time on it, is one of the things they should consider as a risk is the barrier to entry of the various businesses they are going to bring up. COVID eventually will leave, or we will find a way of living with it. However, what happens to something as safeguarding entry to your type of business? because I don't want to let out a lot, I think your example was clear enough. Any other thing I say will just be refilling their template for them. So to encourage innovation, I'll just be quiet and say that just think about barriers to entry too as a risk. Okay, thank you.
Barriers to entry, yeah, that's really important. That goes right back to things even like policy, licensing, qualifications, the price of the product. So yeah, very good point. Okay, great. Let's move on. Thank you, guys. There is a question regarding team structure. Do the team members have to fall within the same age range? Antoinette, yes, they do. I hope that's not bad news for you, but yes, they do. Okay, let's move on. Right, we're nearly at the end. It's been a long session, but I think it's been quite fruitful. See, some of you have stuck with us all the way through, so thank you for that. Okay, so Q&A. The thing we've been waiting for, and I'm so happy that I can finally share this now. All right, guys, this is your turn now to spill out the questions. If we have been doing a fantastic job of answering your questions, let us know, because I know that the questions have been coming, but they're quite, it's been quite light on the questions. So do let us know. Do let us know if you have questions. It's all down to you now. So we're going to stay here for a few more minutes. Let us know if you've got questions. And if you haven't, that's fine as well. Let us know so that we know how to deliver these sessions in the future. Michael, are you seeing any questions on your side? Because I know I'm a bit delayed, I think. I think we might have done a good job.
Yeah. I just checked on my side and I couldn't find any. So.
Okay. That's fine. That's a good thing, I think. I'll just go again. All right, guys. I think we're gonna just give one more minute and then we're just try to end the session. Just before I finish the session, I'm just gonna hand out some links to you. So what we're trying to do
Antoinette posted something. If you would check, let me quickly pull it up and then. She posted on Facebook, yeah. Regarding the team structure, do the teams have to fall with the same age range, which is 18 to 30? The team structure, should all teammates fall within the age range, 18 to 30?
I think I did. I think I did address this. This is yeah. What do you think, Michael?
So let's. This is a very difficult one. I think we should take it on a case-by-case basis.
Interesting. Why is that? Just out of interest.
Because I'm still trying to consider it, so it's too. It's really kind of a on the spot issue for me, so I'm still considering it. Yeah, because then when you open it up, if you open it up, then there goes away your range. Anyone, then it becomes an open stuff. Anyone can join. So for now, I think the team will have to consider such a. So maybe in the they should just follow our channels, join the appropriate platforms we've provided, and an answer to this will be sent out. Yeah, that'll say for now.
Exactly. Okay, fine. Cool. All right. So I think we're done. I don't see any more questions coming through. We've had a good long session. We've had questions throughout. So I think I'm going to thank you, Michael, for spending some time with us this Sunday. Thank you all for joining this session. Michael, you want to say something?
I would like to say a big thank you too for having me. Thank you to the people who made this happen, and most especially to those who were with us. It's been over 2 hours, and people. It's not easy to come by even in this whole pandemic lockdown situation. People have still been able to give us 2 hours of their Sunday evening. I'm very grateful and humbled by that. So thank you. Let's make this happen. Let's make this fun. Let's make this a learning experience. Thank you all.
Yeah. Well, it certainly has been for me. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Michael. It's been an absolute pleasure. Wonderful. All right, fine. I'm just going to do some closing comments. So, guys, thank you again for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know a bit about your thinking and areas in which you need additional support. I'm going to post a bit more about how to connect with us. If you connect with us, we'll be able to, number one, support you, give you the links, give you the dates, give you the timelines. So please, please, please join the news channel, which is Gen X News. So GENI.US. I have no idea why I'm reading that as it's on the screen. And also, please join the chat. Get to know each other. You're going to need each other. There's a reason why Michael and I have been emphasizing social proof. It is part of the competition. So get to know each other, start networking with each other, start, that sort of stuff is really, really important. Get in the group as soon as you can. I don't think you need any more than that. If you get in there, ask us any questions and we'll be able to help you. There's one more comment which I will take before we close this. I can't actually see the comments, but very helpful. Thank you. Thank you for joining, Antoinette. Goodbye, guys. It's been good. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and we'll see you again soon. Join our channel. Bye.